So in this video, I'll be explaining the keywords that are involved in word problems leading to linear equation. So that whenever you have a word problem question, you should be able to interpret all the keywords that are involved in solving such problem. So we have this question here. Let me read it out. Question say the sum of twice a number and 8 is equal to the difference between 40 and the same number. Find the number. I read the question again. The sum of twice a number and 8 is equal to the difference between 40 and the same number. Find the number. So if you look at this question here, there are some keywords you're going to outline before you solve this question. So whenever you have a word problem question, before you could tackle such a problem, read the question carefully. I repeat myself, read the question at least 2 or 3 times before, so that you'll be able to identify the keywords in that problem. Let me outline the keywords for you in this problem we have here. The first one is the sum, and the second keyword is twice. So let me write it out for you. Keywords in this question, so that you should be able to understand it. Keywords. So the first here on my list is the sum. I will outline it out. Is the sum, and the second one is twice, which is the second keyword. Twice. The second keyword is twice. Why the third keyword? Let me see the third. Equal to. Equal is another keyword. Okay. Equal. Difference. Difference. Another keyword in this question. Difference. Okay. Difference. So now, at least these are the 4 keywords in this question. So whenever you have a problem like this, I explain, read the question 2 or 3 times before identifying the keywords that involved in that word problem. So whenever you identify the keywords, okay, when you identify those keywords, that is, after reading the question, you should identify the keywords. So when you identify the keywords, the next step you take is for you to define the variable. That is, you define the variable, you set a particular number, the unknown variable that you don't know, you set it to stand for a particular variable. That is, variable in mathematics is what you don't know. So you, after identifying this, define your variables. That is, what you don't know, you set it to stand for a particular alphabet. That is, many students find it challenging, like in mathematics we mention y, we mention x. It's not only x and y that you can set it to be variable. You can set it to be a, you can set it to be p, you can set it to be z, depending on what you are defining. So whenever you define, you set how you outline your keywords in the word problem like this. Define your variable. Okay, after defining your variable, okay, after you might define your variable, then put this into a mathematical form. Okay, translate this, what you have here, into mathematical form. So let's come back to this question. I read it again. The sum of twice a number and 8 is equal to difference between 40 and the same number. So now they are talking about a particular number, that is the sum of twice a number. So in mathematics, I want to talk about those keywords. I will explain to you all those keywords. That is, in word problems, when they are talking about sum here means addition. Okay, so when we are talking about sum, we are talking about addition. There are some questions that will still say together, together is addition as well. Total, total is addition. Okay, so these three keywords here, whenever you have it in a word problem, they are talking about addition. Okay, so let's talk about uh, uh, minus or subtraction. When you have difference, when you have when you have difference when you have difference, they are talking about minus. When you have less than in a word problem, they are still talking about subtraction. So what about multiplication? Multiplication, you have things, keywords like products is multiplication. Okay, you still have keywords like times. Okay, means multiplication. Okay, so this is what you see have here. So now, what about twice? Twice now, if the keyword like twice in word problem means two, assuming you define your variable two, you say let the variable to be x now. So if the question say twice the number, which means it's two times that variable. Okay, if the question say uh if the question say assuming thrice here means, or three times means three times that variable. So these are the keywords you should first know, you should first put at the back of your mind before going into solving a word problem question. So I think I'm making sense. So please, if you're following what I'm just explaining, turn on the notification bell and subscribe to my channel so that whenever I post a video like this, you should be able to follow it up. You should be the first person YouTube will notify. So let's come back to the question. So now, after these are the keywords that you will understand before you solve a word problem. But if you are this kind of person that you don't actually understand English very well, you will find it challenging interpreting a word problem, because before you solve a word problem question, you will need to first of all understand the geometry, the question that is put together before you should be able to solve it. So after defining those keywords we have on the board, I think it is more easier for us to solve this question now. So let me start solving the question since we have understood the keywords and how to interpret a question. So this linear question here, the sum of twice a number. So let's say solution, let's say solution. Okay, so now the sum of twice a number, we don't know that number, so let's say let's the number let the number be x. Okay, let the number be x because we don't know the number. So the question say the sum of twice a number. So since they are saying twice a number and we know that the number now is x, which means we are now going to say 2 times x. Okay, so now we define the number to be x. So the question say the sum of twice a number. So which means twice a number, we are going to multiply the number by 2. Twice a number and 8. The sum means, so which means the sum of twice a number, this number twice and what, 8. So which means we write 8. Okay, is equal to, so equal to now, okay, I forget to mention equal to is this sign, so is equal to now. So now the question say to the sum of twice a number and 8, this is twice a number, which is the number is now x, so twice a number is 2 times x, then and 8, which is 8, is equal to the difference between 40. Difference now I explained to be what, minus. Okay, so it's equal to the difference between 40. So 40 the difference between 40 and the same number. So they are talking about the same number, which means is still what the x we have. So that is 40 minus the same number. So has formed this has formed a linear equation. Okay, so now you solving linear equation, you try to gather those one that you see all the things you're seeing similar, gather them together, all the things you're saying. So in doing that, you do what is called separation. It's either you collect them to the left or you collect them to the right. So let's continue here. Okay, so after doing that, since we have this equation here, let's try to, let's say anything that has x, let's call it to be the Igbo people. Okay, let's call them Igbo people. While without x, let's call them the Yorubas. So let's try to gather everybody in their own domain. Okay, so let's put the Igbo people to the left hand side, while the Igbo people or the Yoruba people to the right hand side. I repeat again, anything with x, let's call it the Igbo people. Anything, because Igbo people are people that we cannot know, they are variables, because we cannot define them, but the Yoruba people are constant. So let's put them to the right hand side. Okay, so in doing that, I'll first of all write 2x. Then while moving this x here, while moving this minus x here, crossing this inequality sign here, it will change to plus x. That is, whenever you're taking a minus sign to the right hand side, the sign revises. If it was plus, it's revised to minus. If it is minus, it revised to plus. So now to the right hand side, I'm going to introduce my equal sign. The right hand side, I have 40 before, but I'm going to move this Yoruba man to go and meet his person to the right hand side. So sorry, it was having plus sign, the sign to it now revised to be minus 8. Okay, so now 2x plus 1x, that will give me 3x. This is equal to 40 minus 8, that will give me 32. Okay, so now the question says you find the number. So I will now divide 3 from both sides in order to find the number, so that the number will stand alone. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay, so 3 into this will give me 10.667. Okay, and that will be the number. So now in you trying to check this out, you will discover that, because if you want to know whether this is correct, you are going to put everything back. So in solving your linear equation, at the end, try to verify. So in verifying this, verify verifying this, I'll have that since x is now 10.667, I'll now say 2 times 10.667 plus 8. Let me see if, then since I know, I will now say 40 minus 10.667. So you will see that everything is going to give you 29.4. 29.4. So approximately, so this is correct, since the left hand side equals the left hand side. So guys, that is exactly how to understand word problem.